The last epic convention that we'll be talking about today is that it is ceremonial, or it has what can be talked about as a grand style. When we think about the epic, we can think back to the oral storytelling that it grows out of. We can think about Homer, we can think about the Odyssey, the Iliad, we can think back to Gilgamesh and other ones of these. And oftentimes what would happen is a gathering of the people. And so maybe they gather, like I have this image right here of firelight. So they might gather around the fire at night, and then what we have is not just, hey, I'm going to talk to you in this normal way, but this really elevated language, this grand style, this ceremonial language in many ways, as the people were told oftentimes their origin story, oftentimes something about who they are and where they came from in the form of this epic poem. And this isn't with all epics, so Paradise Lost, for instance, wasn't read around the fire, first of all, and I don't think that James Joyce's Ulysses had that happen very often to it either, although now I kind of want to have a day where we just all get together and read Ulysses around a fire. That would actually take much longer than a day. But we want to think about the way that this style influences it, and so this type of literariness oftentimes has this very high diction, this really intensity in the language. So and you can see that in something like the Odyssey, when they are coming to the Cyclopes, or the Cyclops as we more oftentimes say now. They get this type of description. So we have, well then, and this is in book 7, across the wide bay from the mainland there lies a desert island, not far out, but still not close in shore. Wild goats in hundreds breed there, and no human being comes upon the isle to startle them. No hunter of all who ever tracked with hounds through forests or had rough going over mountain trails. The isle, unplanted and untilled, a wilderness, pastures goats alone, and this is why good ships like ours, with cheek paint at the bows, are far beyond the Cyclopes. So here you can hear the way that our diction, the way that our syntax is oftentimes very different from what we find here. This is giving it that artistic, ceremonial, high-sounding rhetoric, that high-sounding real feel and accent. And so some of that is just in the word order, the way that we have the words put into order, that we are told, there lies a desert island, not far out. So we have not far out breaking into the sentence already, but still not close in shore. We have other ways of phrasing it, and if you look at the words that are being used, most of the words are not actually that difficult as far as vocabulary or that weird. So here we have, really in this portion, work that's being done predominantly by the way that those words are put together and the order that they're put together in. So that's one place where we see that. We also see this all the time in John Milton's Paradise Lost. We'll look also at John Milton's Paradise Lost. This is a passage from the first book where Satan has been cast out of heaven. He says farewell to the pleasantness that was there and embraces his new residence in hell. And here we have a lot of this real accent of the high language, the stylized and very ceremonial speech. This is not mimicking everyday speech very much at all, and it's doing that purposefully. So we have farewell, happy fields where joy forever dwells. And even that, instead of saying, goodbye, a really nice place I used to be living, he says, farewell, happy fields where joy forever dwells. This is just very formal sounding. It has that ring of the old about it as well. Hail horrors, hail infernal world, and thou profoundest hell, receive thy new possessor. Even that, this address to hell that says, receive thy new possessor, that he is come and is the one who now possesses, who now owns hell, and takes up residency there. The language, though, is a big part of what communicates that and puts it into that realm of high language. One who brings a mind not to be changed by place or time. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. What matter where, if I be still the same? There again, I just want to point out the syntax. What matter where, if I be still the same, is again this, we have a different type of word order there that we'd really be expecting there. And one of the things that that does is it gives it a very different feel. It gives it that very formal feel. He continues, and what I should be, all but less than he whom thunder hath made greater. Here at least we shall be free. The Almighty hath not built here, for his envy will not drive us hence. Here we may reign secure, and in my choice to reign is worth ambition, though in hell, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. So here in this passage, we also get that sense of language that is elevated. And that's something that's going to be an important part of the epic because it gives it some of that high seriousness. The epic is about largeness, it's about grandness, it's about larger-than-life heroes, it's about great, grand, mind-expanding scale. And it's also about something that is at its core very serious, very earnest, very elevated.